Hey folks, it's Nate coming at you on a wonderful Saturday afternoon, October 16th. So, got a mail call today. Just had a package come in to me, well, two actually, from a particular wizard over at Babu Sabers and More, um, out on the East Coast somewhere. And this is the second package that came from the same location. Now I know what this is. Um, so one of these I've seen before because it was an empty that I sent to him for an install, and that's coming back. But the second one, I have never had in my hands. So the second hilt that came back to me was one that I sort of purchased, I think, through him, that he then installed um, on, at his house, at his business. So I had never gotten the hilt empty. I basically purchased the hilt and the labor and the install all through him in one shot. And then he installed it out, and then got that all done, and then included it with the other hilt that I commissioned through him to get built. Um, so the second one is going to be more of a surprise for me as well. So I'm really excited today. So this is really cool. I'm going to open up the obvious package first because we all know what this is. Um, this looks this looks like a snowshoe. Plus the guy's from Michigan, so he's always sending us snowshoes. He's being helpful, but I don't think he realizes that those of us like in California, we don't really have snow out here. So Matt, we don't really need snowshoes. We're good. We got regular sneakers and flip flops and stuff. It's an old joke my dad used to do. Whenever we asked, like, what's in the package, you always say it's a snowshoe or it's a lump of coal. Especially when the package was like totally obvious as to what it was. So, all right. So this. So what this is at least I think this is what this is. Was that one of the installs that the first install that Matt had done for me, because of there was a recess in the emitter. He needed to build a custom blade for me that that had a recessed PCB, so that the blade would actually fit on the emitter. But I see two blades in here, I think, so I'm not sure. Oh, I gotcha. The second blade was actually part of the full order off the empty hilt plus the install. There's also a blade that was with that. That's why. So there's actually two blades. One was a specialty blade, and another one was just the blade came with what I ordered. So that's why. Okay, now I remember. Now it's all coming back to me. See, this is what happens when you just impulse buy sabers, because you need them in your life, and you need that particular one in your life. So sometimes the little details you forget about, you're just like, yeah, ship it. Just here's money. Just and when I know I'm after a certain thing to complete like a collection, as long as I know it's like the model and the style that I want, and I trust the installer, to basically do a bang up job, then I just go into impulsive mode because I know they're going to do the job that I want them to do, that I'm expecting. So wow, this is really cool. This is probably one of the smallest blades I have ever seen. This is so cool. Y'all know what blade this is for, right? just so you know, I'm not doing any camera tricks on you. This is a standard 32-inch NeoPixel blade. This is one of the blades I just got in the mail. So that should be a big hint as to what the other hilt is. That was a recent saber run by a company in Maryland that we all know and love. And then this one is the yeah, this one is the custom blade, right? Which he needed to tape down here just so that there wasn't no gunk or anything got inside of it while it was in transit. Smart. That's always smart about stuff like this. Very, very conscientious installer. Awesome. So, yeah, so this one is the one with the this is the one with the slightly recessed PCB, right? Because that's what it requires. And then I think this one is a because it was for a thin neck. Yeah, this one I think is a 28-inch. I want to say Matt can correct me on this, but I'm pretty sure this is a. Well, I got a. Actually, I have a tape measure. Pretty sure this is a 28-inch. No, it's a 30. Okay, it's a 30-inch. Great. A little bit longer. Okay, so we have a 26-inch tiny NeoPixel blade, and we have a 30-inch with a recessed PCB. So that should give you a clue as to what two hilts might be coming out. So it's like Christmas. It really is. Even when you know what it is, because you know you commissioned it, or you know you're talking with the installer about it, you know, for every so often, you know, just to make sure, you know. So it still feels like Christmas when they come in. Okay, so and I've even got a little bit of a King Kratos hair in the package. So King Kratos, dude, Matt, your dog is so Kratos is so cool. He's like the happiest dog I've ever seen. So this was hilt number 1. This is the CC Sabers Yoda. This is the one that I did not have here at home. I was sort of thinking about getting one, but the hilt run sort of had already gone through, and a lot of people were just starting to get theirs delivered. And I was still like, you know, I really should get one. You know, Matt was like, I have it empty. I can build it out for you, get a blade for, you know, for this X set price. And I'm like, yeah, do it. Let's just do it. So he just did the whole thing for me. He had the hilt, installed it, did the blade, all for one package price. So that was great. There's a business card here, and these look like gotcha. And these are, yeah, some of the extra pieces. He talked about this in his explain video to me. So this is like the extra emitter that he didn't really want to use because it was a little bit shaky. So the one he put on here works a lot better. These things are so cool. Man, this is just so dope. Look at this thing. It's so cool. this really is a I've only seen pictures of sabers this small. I've never had one designed like this that was this small. This is just and I know when I started collecting, I never thought in a million years that that I would ever have a Yoda saber. Like of all the sabers I knew that I wanted or that I knew that I would get, a Yoda saber was never one that would even occur to me in my wildest dreams. That one would even be made, let alone that I would even have one. This is gorgeous, man. It's just awesome. Love these little tactile switches. These are great. CC Sabers did a really good job with this. And thank you, Matt, for the install and for putting this all together, doing all in one. So I'm gonna step back through the explain video once more later on this one, and make sure I understand how to operate it correctly. My recollection was that it wasn't terribly difficult. I just don't want to make a fool of myself on camera, because I don't rightly remember exactly how it was done. So, and I can't remember. I think there might be like some sort of a kill switch in here, but I don't. I want to make sure I understand how to operate it before I turn it on. But yeah, so this is a CC Sabers Grandmaster, and this was installed with Profi 2.2 and NeoPixel, and this is the blade that Matt built for it. And so this is now my collection is complete for my OT hilts, my OT prequel hilts. I actually still may get one more. I'm still considering whether or not I want Phantom Menace hilt for Obi-Wan. Still considering that. But my plan was I wanted a Luke Hero hilt, a Vader hilt, Anakin, and Obi-Wan original trilogy, and a Yoda. And those all five are now part of my. So I've got my Anti-Flex, my Mom Hero, my DV6, this one, and then the one that's in that other box. Okay, so let's get these out of the way here. This is, I should also mention, this probably won't mean that much to most of you out there who've been collecting a lot longer than me. This is the most expensive saber I own to date. It's also probably one of the most precious. But first I want to give a shout out to Jamie Maddox, who was really, really nice in getting this, selling this hilt to me for a really good price some months ago. That was a really, really nice deal, and I was super nervous about getting a hilt of this quality secondhand from somebody, and Jamie really made that. That experience comfortable. So thank you. And Matt, this is just absolutely gorgeous. So here it is, folks. This is my Roman props. Obi-Wan Kenobi FX MK1 weathered with a Rudy Pando pistol chamber. This is just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. Totally speechless. I mean, it was gorgeous enough when it was empty. I would just sort of stare at it up on the shelf. I was just, nice to get this installed one day. And yeah, this is just absolutely gorgeous. Fantastic. Yeah, just speechless. And I know for a lot of other collectors out there, you know, a lot of folks have like a lot of, you know, crystal sabers or nice rare etched 1-of-1s and stuff. You know, a lot of, I've got some decent pieces, some nice pieces, even a couple of 1-of-1 pieces, some rare pieces. But I'm very, very selective about that just for budgetary reasons. So, my collection is limited, but I want to make sure that what I do have is like the stuff I really, really want. Um, and and this was one of the pieces that I knew I had always wanted. And Matt, you made this one happen, man. This is just gorgeous. So there will be another video later on this one, lighting this one up, putting a blade in it, swinging it around very gingerly for a few. Um, uh, but this one I'm going to be a lot more careful with. So, you know, just with the crystal chamber in here, it's it does kind of sort of lock, but you have to be really careful. Apparently, this is the first crystal chamber saber I've ever owned, like a real crystal chamber saber, and so I was listening to what people were telling me that have owned these, and one of the things they always tell me is, some chambers that are like super super high end custom jobs, will have some like internal latching mechanism, and then some don't. It just depends. In this particular hilt, even though it does close and fasten, it does latch, but there's no locking mechanism that keeps this part of the hilt from twisting and then reopening. So when you're holding it, you have to make sure that you're holding it in that locked position so that it doesn't slip back and fall open while you're swinging it around. At least that's what I understood my instruction from that to be, was like, when you're swinging it, just be really careful, because you don't want it to do that, because if you're swinging it around, then it will just fall open, and you don't want that to damage your chamber. So anyway, oh gosh, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So yeah, and then this is also Profi NeoPixel. Those are all my installs. I'm a Profi guy. I'm always going to get Profi installs with these. Yeah, all right, man. Over the moon. So with these two, that completes my my Star Wars, my sort of canon hilt collection, the 5 that I wanted. I'll sort of, I'll show you what these are. So these are it's the Roman props, CC sabers, Yoda. Myth and Magic, Rasky Labs, 7 Chambers, Verity Cosplay, Mom of All Heroes, the 89 Sabers, DD6, and last but certainly not least, the 7 Chambers Aniflex V2. So that is my, that's my trilogy collection. And like I said, there may be one more coming. I may consider getting the either a Graflex at some point. I had one before. I'm not, and please don't hate me. I'm not a huge Graflex fan. I think aesthetically they're beautiful, but their sound is crap, and their wieldability is crap. Like, you can't wield it. And I know these are all collection pieces. These are all like, on the shelf. But at the same time, like this Aniflex, for example, I have absolutely no problem pulling this thing off the shelf, putting a blade in it, and swinging it around and doing a demo video. It's really easy to do with this thing. I could, doing that with a Graflex is a little bit more difficult. Now, in the case of somebody like Jesse over at Kyberphonic, who basically rigged it up to where he's got a stereo jack in there, that kind of mod is a lot easier to do on a Graflex, because it's got a much, much bigger bottom. You've got a lot more room to play with down there. So I will give it up in terms of the Graflex being like one of the easier of these Canon sabers to install because it's got a lot more room down there. But the sound quality is just not that good. Also, the blade retention up here with the bunny ears is just really tenuous. I owned Graflex Supreme 2.5 from 89 Sabers Corebox one for a while, a couple of months actually, and then I just ended up selling it because it wasn't doing anything for me. So I think what I may do is I may wait a little while and look for a really, really nice one. Like I may go back to Roman Props and get like one of their, a nice flash gun prop, FX version of the Graflex, and then have it, done up really nicely, like this Obi-Wan. I think that's what I may do, because if I already know that I'm not going to be using a Graflex for any kind of saber activity, that it's only going to ever be on the shelf, I might as well just, go top shelf. So I think that's what I'll probably do. Well, thank you all for watching. As always, Matt, your work is stellar. Really, really happy with these installs, and just working with you, being very accessible and available, and talking with me as you go through the various stages of this work. It's been great, really positive experience. And while I miss my former regular installer, Charles, I also respect the fact that he's got some other things going on in life now where he's like working full time, doing a lot more daddy daycare, like spending time with his kid, and all that stuff is really, really important. So he's kind of pulled back on the installs, and so sort of over the last 3 or 4 months, Matt's sort of become more of my regular installer. As a result, that transformation has been, gradual, but it's also been very, very positive. So yeah, thanks, man. All right, y'all. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. Take care.